Okay, so I hope we're all back, and I want to first of all talk to you about this palming stick. It's really worth anyone's while. It's not nicely built, but what I like about it, I can put it in any length that I want to put it. So, for example, if I do it this long, it's way too long for the chair. But if I sit on the floor, it may work a bit better for me. So it is different sizes for different locations, and each chair is different, and each place I just need to put it a bit differently. So anyway, I want to talk right now about eye exercises. I just finished a nice short series of sessions with somebody with glaucoma, and one thing that I discovered is how rigid the approach is to all eye problems. The idea is always like everything is black and white. You have glaucoma, that means you have pressure, and the pressure destroys your vision. Well, it does in many cases, but then in many cases, you reduce the pressure, the vision anyway gets destroyed. In other cases, you don't reduce the pressure, the vision remains. So the thought is always that there is a certain definition of everyone's pathology and everybody responds the same to the same problem. So I just would like to reassure you that every system is different. You would have a person with tremendous amount of eye pressure without any vision loss, and somebody else with low pressure with huge vision loss. You would have somebody whose cataract just began, and within a year, it covers all the lens and blinds the person, and the best thing for them is to remove the lens. Then you have cataract that begins and doesn't actually mature for about 50 years. What's the difference is what we do for ourselves. In my books, and you can bring me my book, Vision for Life and Awakening, I have described my work. Yeah, this is Awakening. Yeah. I've described in my work 9 principles for natural vision improvement. We're going to have to talk today only about principle number 1, but there are 9 principles. One is deep relaxation of the eyes. And in many ways, we can relax the eyes. We can look at the distance when we look so much from near, and the eyes can get relaxed that way. We can be outdoors when it's a lot of stress to be indoors. Sometimes be indoors when it's a lot of stress to be outdoors. Okay? So those principles are described very well in this book, Vision for Life and Awakening Your Power of Self-Healing, and my DVD, Vision for Life as well. So what I'm describing there is that, number 1, we need to deeply relax our eyes. Number 2, we need to adapt ourselves to different light frequencies and amplitude. What do I mean by that? I mean that the sun is your friend, but the medical profession made it your enemy. The night is your friend, but modern life made night our enemy. And we have lights, and we never adapt to the real dark of the night. So we need to allow the pupils to expand and shrink. Just today, I did the exercise with my latest client, which was surprising to her, of having a glow ball in the dark and going outside and doing sunning. A glow ball in the dark and going outside and doing sunning. I'm sorry that Ron told me today that the camera does not reach outdoors, or we would have done sunning together, because I think sunning and palming work very well together. I want us to expand that technology so I could be free to go back and forth and work with you that way. The third principle is distance viewing. We're looking so much from near and not enough from far. And even my 2 kids, whose lens was removed at the age of 2 weeks because they were born with cataracts like myself, even though they don't have a lens and they don't have an implant, and they use cataract glasses like they used to do in the 60s and in the 40s and in the 1800s, they use cataract glasses. But when they look at the distance, and especially I'm thinking right now about my daughter, when she looked at the waves, she could see so much better the chart afterwards. And in fact, both of them, without their lens, and my daughter, especially with small cornea, have amazing vision. They can see 75% to 80%, my son sometimes 85% of normal vision without correction. And learning to look at the distance is so important for the lens itself, because the muscles of the lens make it round when you look from near and flat when you look with it from far. And then detailed vision. Today, the greatest blinding condition in the world is macular degeneration. And I think it is there because we did not learn to cherish the ideas that looking at details is so good. You know, people in other societies, like the Inuits in the north, like the natives in the Amazon, like the Maoris in New Zealand, like the Bedouins in the desert, they look at so many details. They don't have macular degeneration. They don't even have nearsightedness. We need to learn to look at details because we lost curiosity about them and because they're overwhelming. So looking at details is a very important principle. And in the future, I would like to work with you on that. And that's what I'm doing in my classes and in my trainings. We work on looking at details. That animates the macula and prevents degeneration and stop it from continuing, if you have any, and in fact, often creates some reversal. The next principle is peripheral vision. We normally don't use enough of it in the normal modern age. Many people, when they look at the phone, all they have is the phone in front of them. There is nothing to the side. And that really destroys our vision. In the past, we wouldn't survive without excellent peripheral vision. And so human developed it. And today we don't use enough of it. We put a lot of pressure on the central vision. But then we don't use the central vision well either. And then the next principle is balanced use of the eyes. Very important exercise. The first thing I normally do with my classes. And people are amazed when they do it. In fact, today, the glaucoma patient I work with had such a big problem having balance use between their eyes. And then there were moments when the eyes became balanced and the vision was much clearer. Then balance use within each eye. It is clear to anyone who lost part of the vision in any eye that we want to use that part that was lost. But it is also clear to me that everyone could use more parts of the eyes and work with them better. Then there is body and eye coordination. We use a trampoline a lot for that. I will never forget the case of the guy who lost 85% of his visual field and bouncing on a trampoline and responding to arrows to the left, to the right, forwards, backwards. He ended up getting about 70% additional. He ended up being with 85% of his field. And last but not least, more blood circulation. That's one of the things we worked when we worked on our knees and the hips and the feet. But let's just now work with the head. Move your head in rotating motion in both directions. And now, Ron, if you can point to some people one by one so I can see how they do it. All the way in rotating motion in both directions. Wonderful. You think as if you're drawing a circle with your nose and then opposite direction, yeah? Very nice. Very nice. And another person, if you have one. Oh, yeah. Very nice. In both directions, another person. Yeah. There are many, many good people in this particular Zoom conference, and many of you know about palming. So to make it a little bit different, inhale, exhale, remember, without putting pressure. Now, after you exhale, open the mouth all the way and sigh like, Ah. And Ron, show me right now. Inhale. Exhale. Ah. Very good. Better than me even. Okay, and then inhale. Exhale. And now tighten your bladders if you hold yourself from going to the bathroom, which I hope you did during the break. Relax. And now breathe collectively and gently. And feel if the eyes benefited from it. Do they feel softer? Is there a sense of lightness in your skull? Because lightness always means more blood flow. And the slower you breathe, the better. So maybe you can count to 6 as you inhale and 9 when you exhale, but it's not necessary. Make sure it is slow. Again, never put pressure on the cheekbones. If you catch yourself, relax, drop your shoulders. One more minute. We have a minute more to do it, but think it's infinity. Don't think it's finishing. Just relax into the palm. Feel how nurturing your hands are over your eyes. The eyes can get tired much more than the hands. And they need to be baby. And that's why I love this exercise. After 5 cataract surgeries, nystagmus for so many years, bad vision, which I must tell you, is got to me better in the line in the last few weeks, simply because I know I'll be tested by the DMV again next year. That gave me an impotence, and impotence to work, and I'm working every day, and it works. It's getting better and better. But after everything and before everything, rest and neutrality is number 1. So breathe in for 6, breathe out for 9 for the next 2 times. Now slowly take your hands off. So it was nice to see all of you. If anyone has a question, we'll go by you one by one. If you have a question, please ask. It's so nice to meet you again, my dear.
Often I use so many things that I've learned from working with you.
And that's a big compliment to you, because you're an excellent practitioner. Excellent. Okay. So, anyone else? Excellent. Yeah, really. Yeah. Carol,
Hi.
Hi. You're closer to me than Aileen, because you are from Devon and she's from Scotland, right?
That's right, yeah.
So Scotland is a little bit farther than Devon, at least by 2 meters from San Francisco.
It's quite a bit further, yeah. I just wanted to say, I was late joining in because I've never done Zoom before, but now I know how it works. It's great. And I wanted to say that I went to the eye consultant 3 days ago, and he says I can still drive, and I've been doing my exercises, and thank you for all your help in the past.
Tell everybody what your problem is.
Sorry?
Tell everyone what your problem is.
Macular degeneration, and I've had it since.
You all hear it? She deserves that. Macular degeneration, years that we know, and she drives.
Since 2002.
Isn't that something? 17 years, macular degeneration, and she still can drive. For that reason, I'm not driving in England to not risk your life. Okay, anyone else? Thanks. Yes, it's me. All right, so thank you, everyone, and have a wonderful day, and we want to hear from everybody. Thanks. Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.